My name's Adam Monaco and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
Jack Goff, the man on pole. Sam Smelt, the man at the back, having his first British Touring Car Championship race. The green flag is waved to say that everybody is back from that final warming up lap, and we are ready. The British Touring Car Championship is back in business. 2018 starts right here. It's blast off and a good getaway by Jack Goff. Turkington makes a good start. Jordan's away well also, but he can't find a way through because everywhere he wants to be, there's a car in the way. Goff will lead up towards Paddock. Tordoff didn't make a great start and has slipped back to fourth, and it might be fifth because he's on the outside line at Paddock as they slither their way round. Camish tries to get up the inside line as they arrive at Druids. That's for third against Andrew Jordan. There's a gap up the inside line. The Honda tries to seize the advantage, and it does go through. It is Goff, Turkington, Camish, Jordan as they head downhill for the first time.
Well, Camish dropped 2 places on the start, but he pulled them back straight away to move up to third.
They make the run along Cooper Straight then for the first time. It's Jack Goff in the lead. Sam Tordoff, though, having lost a lot of ground off the start, coming under attack. He's got Matt Neal behind him. He's got Matt Simpson alongside him, and off the road goes Simpson. He's hit by Matt Neal and gets forced into Tordoff, and they both go off. Big damage for Simpson, and Sam Tordoff in the wrong place at the wrong time gets shoveled across the grass.
Well, for some reason, Tordoff was quite slow off the line and round the opening 2/3 of the lap, so they were all just queuing up behind him, and that was just an accident of concertinaing.
So, drama right from the start as Tom Chilton now tries to come up and have a go at Andrew Jordan. It's now Chilton, of course, who's got to fly the flag for Motorbase because his is now the highest place of the focus is as they come up towards Druids. And again, there's the gap on the inside line. He tries to go through, but that'll be the outside for Graham Hill Bend. Tom Ingram is next, and the safety car is deployed. We got through qualifying yesterday without a spin, a yellow and anything, and that is Matt Neal, who's off the road as well. Maybe he suffered some damage in that contact over at Surtees, and it's bitten him coming through Clark.
Yeah, he got hit on the left front when he came in that accident, and he's gone forward straight on at Clearway, so I suspect the left front has got damage.
Talk us through it.
Tordoff's already had a moment which has forced Simpson onto the grass. Simpson can't then steer the car. As he comes back on, he's collected by Matt Neal, and that takes all 3 of them off. This might be a better angle. So watch Tordoff's car, the white car on the right. He's already slow. Look, they're all over the back of him. He's slow. Oh, he has a moment on the curb, half spins, touches Simpson, fires him off. Simpson comes back on. Concertina accident. And now to Chilton round the outside. Bit of contact there. Ingram on the limiter, changing up. Now watch, can you see on the inside, can we see Tordoff have a moment? Not really, it's just they're all side by side, aren't they? And watch what happens to Matt Neal. He can't steer. Look at that, just lost it.
Well, we're about to go racing once more because the lights are out on top of the safety car, and Jack Goff, having done an absolutely perfect standing start, now has to get an absolutely perfect restart. He will control the pace. He has got Colin Turkington breathing right down his neck. Dan Camish is third, and he has got the 2013 champion Andrew Jordan right up behind him. So Dan Camish surrounded by touring car stars, and let's see how he squares up to them now as we are set to go racing once more.
Goff has already gone. He's lit the touch paper and gone round the outside for a good fast exit onto the start-finish line. Look, he's made a great restart, has Jack Goff.
So he manages to gap Colin Turkington as they come over the timing line. We're up to 27 laps now with the safety car laps that we have just finished, and Goff to Turkington was 6/10 when they came over the timing line. Camish is third, it's Jordan fourth, Chilton fifth. Tom Ingram is making progress, he's sixth. James Cole going well, coming back to motor bases there. Aidan Moffat gets up the inside of Rob Austin. That's a change for 11th place as they head up the hill. Good move by Moffat.
Yeah, it certainly was. That was excellent restart. Front-wheel drive cars tend to have a little bit more go on the restart, although he's pushed. That was Oliphant pushing his way through. And there's damage on the back. Look, the back right suspension's broken on the Alfa Romeo Giulietta. Rob Austin's going to have to pit. This is one of the problems with these cars, is that they are slightly vulnerable to a sideways hit.
Front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive, and Sutton, the reigning champion, trying to find a place, but he's actually just lost out to Ollie Jackson, who gets better and better every season. Yeah,
and Ollie was so unlucky so many times last year. Yeah. But I think, you know, Sutton is just looking to get points in these races. Oh, off goes Senna Proctor.
At high speed as well, and that's coming out of Graham Hill Bend. He's facing the wrong way on Cooper Straight, but despite what looked like a big whack, he's got the car moving again. Question is, how did he get there? Did he fall or was he pushed? Bang, there was contact from James Nash. And bang.
Yeah, but he's gone in sort of relatively sideways. Hopefully that will mean that the actual contact is quite...
Now, Colin Turkington is starting to get a bit more committed, isn't he, to finding a way past. There's more pressure being applied. You can see the way that the car is positioned on the road. He's not content to sit there anymore. He wants to make a move for the race lead, and here it comes on the inside at Clearways. They're absolutely side by side into the corner. They lean on each other, but Jack Goff comes out ahead. Good drive out of Clark Curve. Goff still leads, but that was the first big effort we've seen from Turkington thus far.
It's so fascinating. I mean, Turkington is just so classy, and he has sat there for 14 odd laps while they built a bit of a buffer over the cars behind, and he's just putting the pressure on Goff all the time. He knows that Goff's the one that's got to look in his mirrors and look where he's going. There's a lot to do when you're racing in the wet.
Ingram up the inside of Camish. This, remember, is for 4th place, and Tom Ingram goes through. Dan Camish loses another place, and now he's going to be in jeopardy because Tom Chilton is getting closer to the Honda. We are on lap 18 out of the 27. Behind them, Andrew Jordan still charging along as there Turkington tries to go even wider. But Jack Goff doing a really good job of defending here, hanging on to the lead.
Turkington was hoping then that Jack Goff would go to the inside to defend it, and he would get a better run off the corner. As soon as Goff saw he was going to the outside, he let himself go. So there's a real game of cat and mouse going on here.
There's another 3 cars stacked up behind Camish. He could lose more ground before the end.
Yeah, he's got absolutely no grip on the front for whatever reason. He's running wide. Is that? Yeah, just I thought he'd over brakes, but off the tighter corners, Camish has got no front end grip at all. So clearly Honda need to work on their wet setup here for either for tyre life, because in the first couple of laps he was competitive, but it's wearing those front tyres ominously quickly at the moment.
They turn out of Clark Curve now, up towards the end of lap 24. Andrew Jordan in the Pertec Racing BMW, different livery, same team, WSR in 3rd place, closing up all the time. But over at Eurotech, there are some nervous faces, understandably, because this could be a great start to the season. And you've got to say that Jack Goff has driven faultlessly thus far.
Yeah, incredibly, because it's so difficult. Senna Proctor going slowly again. Remember, he had that incident early on.
Turkington still there 2nd, Jordan 3rd, Ingram 4th. So decent progress has been made, has it not, from 9th on the grid. Had to battle his way up there as well. It's not with people falling off the road necessarily. He did gain a little bit at the start, but he had to work his way past others as there the race leaders come up towards the timing line at the end of lap 25. And here, look, the gap just stretches a little bit, doesn't it? Jack Goff looking more in control. It's only a narrow margin of 4/10, but even so, this gives him a fraction more breathing space into Paddock Hill Bend now with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and if anything, Goff is maintaining his lap. I mean, the track is obviously getting a little bit drier, but they're lapping about half a second off their quickest lap time, so not a great deal of degradation. So Goff certainly seems to have got, as you say, the measure. Sutton's moved up another place. He's passed Cole into 8th place.
1 lap to run at the end of this as the cars sprint along Cooper Straight. There is Jack Goff with Colin Turkington behind him. is Turkington going to settle for second place? He's tried most things to get past Goff, but it's not worked. So is he going to bank the points, knowing it's a long 30-race campaign, or is he going to go for broke on the last lap? Up towards the timing line they come, ready to start this final lap of round one of the championship. Jack Goff it is, with that lead stretching to the eye again as they come over the line. Yeah, it's up to 7/10, and now Camish has got Sutton for company. Here they come, 7th, they're squabbling for the Honda just ahead of the Subaru as they head up towards the line. They start the last lap. Camish having to go defensive, Sutton right up behind him as they come through. Which way does he go? There's another flash of the light. Dan Camish stands his ground, and through Paddock Hill Bend he goes, with Sutton looking for a way through. Yeah, and it'll be the next two. A bit getting out on the wet doesn't help, but it's this extra Druids and extra Graham Hill where Camish is vulnerable. Look, he's really slow on the apex, just trying to hold up Sutton and get a good exit. He needs to do that at one more corner, and he's probably made it. And in the background, Chris Smiley has got past James Cole, you'll notice, who's dropped a couple of spots over the last couple of laps, as now Sutton tries to get up the inside on Cooper Straight. And he can't get up alongside, he didn't have the grunt. Jack Goff is going to score a race win. The opening round of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship, won by Jack Goff in the Eurotech Racing Honda Civic, that comes across the line just ahead of Colin Turkington second. Andrew Jordan takes third, and those the 99th and 100th podium finishes respectively for the BMW 1 Series in the BTCC. Tom Ingram is fourth, and look at that, a virtual dead heat across the line between Camish and Smiley. Sutton took 7th, Camish took 8th, and he was 28 thousandths of a second. That's all ahead of Chris Smiley when they came across the line. Round one on the Indy Circuit at Brands Hatch, won by Jack Goff, also the winning independent, ahead of Colin Turkington, and then Andrew Jordan third. Tom Ingram fourth, ahead of Tom Chilton. Adam Morgan a good drive up the order to 6th, ahead of Ash Sutton, who also carved his way through the pack. Dan Camish dropped down to 8th. Chris Smiley battled hard for 9th, and James Cole rounds out the top 10. Colin Turkington is missing from the grid. Matt Neal will start at the back of it along with Matt Simpson, because they were in the pits and have joined in from there. Mike Bushell will start from the pit lane. He's just gone on to slicks. And what about Colin Turkington? He's coming down the pit lane. High drama, and we haven't even started the race. Round two of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship is go. Good start by Goff, great start by Jordan, who is going to charge around the outside and take the advantage on the run up towards Paddock. Ingram goes third. In 4th place, it's Chilton. Good start by Ash Sutton as well in the Subaru. He's 5th. Adam Morgan 6th as they slot through Paddock for the first time. Andrew Jordan then leads the way, and he accelerates up the hill towards Druids. A demon start. Tom Ingram up to 3rd, of course, with the clear bit of track ahead of him off that grid. Dan Camish goes way wide at Druids and is in danger of losing a spot. Brett Smith comes up alongside him. So it is Jordan, Goff and Ingram, the top 3 at Graham Hill Band. So the BMWs still get away. Oh, and off on the grass, that looks like Plato. But the BMW still getting away well, even in the wet. And Jordan streaked away. Obviously, he didn't have Turkington in front of him, so the road was clear. So Jordan leads. Is he getting away from Jack Goff? A little bit, because he's got Ingram crawling all over him. Remember, Ingram's car lighter than the two ahead as they accelerate now through Clark Curve. Ingram up the inside of Jack Goff. And the Toyota and the Honda run side by side for second place at the end of lap 1. Jordan leads the way. Ingram second, just as he goes into Paddock. Yes, through on the inside line. So BMW, Toyota, Honda, the top 3. It's Jordan leading the way. Turkington has just left the pit lane. He's lost a lap, of course, but he's in the race. And Jelly is in the gravel. And that is on the outside of Clearways. Marshall's run to his aid. Are we going to see the race neutralised? Let us find out. As the safety car is deployed. The safety car has been deployed as Jordan leads the pack downhill. So we can catch our breath, recap what's going on, as there you see Dan Camish trying to fend off the challenge of James Cole. And on to Cooper Straight they come. We work lap 2. The safety car has been deployed because of Stephen Jelly's BMW, the XWSR chassis, in an awkward place over at Clearways. Andrew Jordan ahead of Tom Ingram, and the safety car is there ready to pick up everybody at the end of this second lap.
Yes. Take a breath, David. Jordan got away very well and took the lead behind it. The track's in this greasy condition. It looks like Ingram's sort of got on top of his car problems, didn't he, from qualifying. I asked him if he knew what it was, and he said we couldn't pin it down to one thing, just a combination of things. But he was pretty happy with the car in race 1, but said the track was incredibly slippery, and it looks like he's got some pace now. And of course, as you say, he's lighter than the cars in front.
So he's gained 1 place from Jack Goff. There's Stephen Jelly. clambering out of the car. He's won in BMWs before, but this car, new to him, gets a tap.
Josh Price, but Josh was getting pushed from behind himself, so one of those concertina situations. Some people going for the inside of the track, some people going for the outside track. You always get that difference. Here's the start. Watch Jordan's second row. No Turkington in front of him to close that gap off, and it's just enough room for him to get past and close the door on Goff. Goff did not make a bad start, but you're not going to beat the BMW way in the wet.
And Ash Sutton made a good start as well, of course, rear-wheel drive from the Subaru, gaining ground on the run through paddock. Tom Ingram's view.
You hear the wheel spin come in after the car's rolling. That's the driver just chasing the throttle, letting the clutch up. Instinct gets the better of you, but still not a bad start.
No, because actually they're all very close through paddock, even allowing for Jordan's Demon getaway.
Yeah.
And Ingram has since, of course, gained that place from Jack Goff up into second. Out of Druids, down to Graham Hill Bend. This was how Ash Sutton got away.
And again, rear-wheel drive on the bottom of the circuit, so he gets more weight on the bottom. He wasn't quite sure which way to go then, but with the others all closing up the inside, he had no choice but to look round the outside. I think there's a little bit of a moment just here, has a bit of oversteer. Chilton dives to the inside straight away to block that move because he knew what was coming. I'm sure if you look at Ash's head, he's looking in the mirror as well on the way into Druids to see what's happening. More oversteer coming out as he chases the traction, the throttle, having to block on the inside. Now coming off. Don't put a wheel on that curb. That will spin the wheels up. Oh, bit of an adjustment. Trying just not to hit the curbs too hard when it's wet until he got a bit more temperature in the tyres. Again, protecting the inside, not the ideal line for the wet. Look at Ingram. He's got great drive off the corner there and slides past Goff very nicely. That's a combination of a better setup now and also the fact he hasn't got the weight.
Yeah, Ingram carries 48 to the 75 kilos of Jack Goff. Stephen Jolly's car is out of harm's way, so we should be good to go back racing at the end of this lap. Everybody weaving around to try and keep the warmth in the tyres, keep the pressures up as well. Now, the next thing we need to start thinking about is those on slicks and where they are in the race order. So we've got Rory Butcher on slicks up to 18th as an example. Andrew Jordan then leading the way as they turn through Druids. And as I say, Colin Turkington is in the race, but he's lost a lap.
Yeah, I would say this definitely helps the guys like Matt Neal, Matt Jackson, who started from the pit lane, because they're now closing up on the back of the bunch. They're getting more heat into their slicks. Remember, they started on slicks, whereas it's more lappery for the front-wheel drive or the cars on wets and that aren't wearing them out. So actually, this is an advantage to the guys on slicks, definitely.
So Matt Neal, 29th. We know he's on slicks. Rob Austin, 28th on slicks. Matt Simpson, 27th on slicks. They're creeping forward.
So is Matt Jackson the top slick runner?
Let's double check in a second, because I think we're going to go racing this time, aren't we? Andrew Jordan gets away, the safety car peels in, so we go racing. Jordan leading Ingram as they accelerate up towards the timing line. Can the Toyota stay with the BMW as they come over the line and now start lap 6 up towards paddock? There's Chilton to the inside of Jack Goff. Is he going to muscle his way through? The door is eventually opened and through he goes. So Chilton up into a sideways, third place. Goff tries to come back in it. Look in the background. Morgan's having to go at Sutton. The red Mac Tools Racing Mercedes on the inside of the Subaru. And through Druids, Morgan hasn't quite been able to do it. Chris Smiley, who was penalised 0.6 of a second in race 1, started 10th, is up now into 7th place, going great guns as well. Behind him is Dan Camish. And also going well, in fact, James Nash, as there, coming up towards the line, is a very distant Matt Neal.
Yes, not sure what happened there, because he wasn't on the back of the queue as we were suggesting he should be. But look at the difference the weight is making to Jack Goff's car. I mean, he was a sitting duck for Chilton, wasn't he? He just flew past him. It just shows how it does affect, because obviously in the last race with no weight, it was a different story.
Here comes Ingram to make his bid for the race lead there. He's lighter than Jordan. They come up towards paddock. Andrew Jordan covers the inside line. Ingram thinks about it, moves across, but the door isn't open there, so he's going to have to try again. Ingram slides a little bit into paddock and therefore loses a length. Chilton looking ominous now in 3rd spot ahead of Goff. James Cole running well also in that next pack. But there you've got Goff versus Sutton, through also Morgan. Smiley's ahead of Camish. James Cole tries to get past Camish as well. And look at James Nash in the second BTC Norlin car. He is going to be crawling all over the back of Camish very shortly as they head into Graham Hill Bend. This is Dan Camish's view. Bit of spray being spattered in by James Cole.
Yeah, the team felt that they hadn't given Dan the best setup for the wet in race 1 with too much camber on. They were going to back that all off for race 2. But even at these early stages, it looks like Camish has not got the grip that he would like, and he's slipping backwards.
Indeed so, as Sutton runs wide onto the wet line, if you like, where the traction might well be on the outside line at Clearways, heading up towards the timing line now. He's all over the back of Jack Goff. 4th and 5th they run. Through goes Jordan, 4/10 up on Ingram. They're still arguing over the race lead, but Chilton is only a second behind them. Ingram has done the fastest lap of the race. You're riding with Ash Sutton, he is 5th. Jack Goff just up the road as now. Ingram is close enough to make a bid for the lead at Druids. He thinks about it. Doesn't force the issue, or does he? There's a little rub, he's up the curb. So the 2013 champion, Andrew Jordan, ahead of last year's independent champion, Tom Ingram, as they drop towards Graham Hill Bend. But Ingram is not going away, is he? He's giving a really tough time to Jordan, and he's got to get on with this because Chilton is catching the two of them. Yeah, it was good driving by Jordan because he saw Ingram lunge and he knew that he was committed to the move, so he left him 3/4 of a width of car on the inside, and he's back up the inside again, and we know Ingram's very good off the corner. He's hugging the inside, so shorter distance, there's not the racing line, there's grip, and he's done it this time. So Tom Ingram will come through at the end of lap number 8 in the lead, but Jordan levels with him again, heading up towards paddock. Tom Ingram leads the way into paddock. He goes. It's Ingram, Jordan, and then Chilton running 3rd. Ingram now needs to try to get away and hope that Jordan gets delayed by Chilton, and indeed if they battle, that Jordan delays Chilton, because that Focus is looking very quick indeed. It is. I'm really impressed by the motor-based Fords RSs this weekend. They've all looked really strong. Yeah, Sam Tordoff is up into 16th place, and he started 26th, so that's a good run. Of course, he was on the front row of the grid for the first race, but had troubles away from the line. And Ash Sutton, Rory Butcher and Ollie Jackson, the drivers that racked up most place gains in Dunlop's Forever Forward Award in that first race, 11 overtakes each. James Cole under attack, Jack Goff still under attack as well. Race leaders working their way up towards the completion now. Lap number 9, is Ingram getting away? Let's see, the gap when they came over the line last time, they were virtually level pegging, was 400s, now it's 4/10, so yes, he is creeping clear. Yeah, Smiley in the X-Dynamics Honda, but with the Toka engine in it this year. It's all been a swap around amongst the Honda teams, hasn't it? As it looks like Oliphant up the inside of Dan Camish. These are the two Porsche Carrera Cup graduates, both making their debut this weekend in Carrera Cup, and Tom Oliphant's got past Dan Camish, so the Mercedes is working well. You know, I mentioned that Tordoff was 16th. Well, he's also done the fastest lap of the race as James Cole and James Nash get together. And Tom Oliphant will get past 1, he'll get past 2. Camish tries to gain out of all of that as well. So Tom Oliphant just ahead of Nash as they swoop now through Surtees. Tom Oliphant, the real beneficiary there, 2 places gained. And James Nash returning to the British Touring Car Championship, having been doing great things in TCR internationally, but loving being back in the Championship, even though he's still learning about this specification of touring car. Yeah, very much so. Some good performances further down here, and Oliphant and Nash back in the Championship, doing very well. So Dan Camish goes through. He's dropped back behind James Cole. He's down to 11th place. Matt Neal really struggling for whatever reason. He's down in 30th. And Colin Turkington, remember, 31st, but effectively a lap down, so he's kind of academic, sad to say. Camish's view is of the back of James Cole's car. Ingram to Jordan, it's still hovering around the 4/10 mark, 0.394 last time. Chilton 3rd, Goff 4th, 5th is Sutton, then it's Morgan, Smiley, Oliphant, Nash and Cole to round out the top 10. Camish, therefore, down in 11th spot. And that man you're just seeing overtaking Tordoff, he's actually got the fastest lap of the race. So he's now really progressing up. That was actually passing into... what position will he be? 13th. No, now Bushel's taken the fastest lap from him. So it's swapping around now. But Bushel is on slicks, yes. Remember? And it's interesting that they're now working so well. So that was Tordoff getting ahead of Collard and therefore going up into, in fact, 14th place, because Josh Cook's also moved up the order that time around. So Tordoff chipping his way up through the order, but Mike Bushel from a pit lane start is now 29th and had done the fastest lap, but Ollie Jackson, who's on slicks, has gone quicker even still. And we've got a long way to go in this race as well.
because these slick cars will only get faster and the wet shod cars will only get slower. Matt Neal being overtaken, lapped, and that's really not working out well for the for either of the Dynamics Hondas. Camish on wet struggling, Matt Neal on slick struggling.
He's gone a lap down, so like Turkington, he's really struggling now, as you say, because he's way outside the points. Leaders come through. Ingram this time is getting away. It was 6/10 on the previous lap, and as he goes through, it's up to 7/10 of a second over Jordan. It's Chilton third, Goff, Sutton, and there a challenge is being made on the inside against the Mercedes, diving into paddock. Chris Smiley having to go against Adam Morgan, so the Mac Tools Racing red Mercedes has got tucked up behind it the Honda. Chris Smiley at the helm, and these two now squabbling for 6th and 7th places. Matt Neal a lap behind, and then it's Tom Oliphant. James Nash having a much better second race than he did have in race 1.
Yeah, once again, the BTC Norlin boys doing a great job putting out two really good cars.
So Ingram, the race leader, is at Surtees. Who's the next mover going to be? Tordoff for the moment is a little bit stuck in 14th with lots of traffic around him. As the leaders come through, the gap's still at the 7/10 of a second mark. Matt Neal keeping out of the way. There goes Tordoff through, 13th now. So Mike Bushell's fastest lap, a 54.1, and the leaders are doing 55.5. So it is now Aidan Moffat who has done the fastest lap, 53.7.
Well, Tordoff is up to 13th. And Cook in front of him is only a little bit in front.
That's right. So Ingram, the race leader still, as Sutton again tries to work out how he gets past Jack Goff. Tom Chilton going great guns for the local team, Motorbase. And now the lap times have dropped into the 52s because Boardman and then Austin and then Bushell are in the mid-52s now, as Goff gets back up the inside of Chilton for 3rd place, and he goes through. Jack Goff retakes 3rd position. Oh, there's a nudge, there's contact. He managed to hold that very well. That could have been a big moment, but Jack Goff then back up into 3rd place. Down to 4th is Chilton. Sutton is still 5th. So Jack Goff responding. The road is drying all the time, and he is 3rd. And now Sutton is clambering all over the back of Chilton.
Yeah, now what's happening is the wet tyres are starting to turn to jelly. They just move around. The blocks move around as they overheat and wear out, and the car just feels like it's all rubbery. It's horrible to drive on, and it looks like Chilton's tyres have gone first as Sutton squeezes through on the inside. Look at that track, though. It's absolutely bone dry on line there at Graham Hill Bend.
So now tyre preservation becomes fascinating, as does the pace of those on the slick tyres. Ollie Jackson is 17th as an example of one driver working his way forward on the slick rubber. And there, Chilton's going to lose another place to Adam Morgan, who gets up the inside, powering his way out of Clark Curve up towards the timing line now. Morgan on the inside, Chilton on the outside. This becomes the battle now over the line for 5th and 6th places, and it's going to be Morgan who takes 5th. And have a look at Chris Smiley in the background. Chris will go through, squeezes past and gains the place.
Yeah, and of course this race is a different one now because there's contact there. Has he held it? Oliphant just clipping the back of Chilton, but they've held it.
But Nash has gained 2 places.
He has, nice one.
Both the BTC Norlin cars up the order. James Nash going great guns.
But what I was going to say was, of course, it's now the top 12 cars that are reversed for race 3, not top 10. So we're looking at all the positions down to 12th for being potential pole positions.
And here is the slick battle. Moffat, whoops, with a bit of contact with Collard, and that puts Rob off the road. Ollie Jackson's on slicks and is delayed. Collard has a big loop and slides himself off onto the grass. So Rob Collard, the meat in the sandwich there. Can he dig himself off that very wet and slippery grass? But Aidan Moffat and Ollie Jackson both sensing a good result here. Over the timing line, Jake Hill is also in that mix. He's on slicks there, number 24, the green and white Volkswagen. So Moffat is 14th, Hill is 15th, Jackson is 16th, and there was that pincer.
Yes, well, that was always going to end in tears, wasn't it? 3 into 1 just doesn't go, and poor old Rob Collard just gets clipped. Oh, and Matt Neal's off the track now. He just hasn't been able to get those slicks working at all, has he?
No.
How strange.
And so he snowplows his way through the gravel. Meantime, BTC Norlin's twins are side by side, and Smiley fends off Nash, who goes around the outside of Chilton. Then you've got the Sicily Motorsport Mercedes of Tom Oliphant looking to make a move on the Motorbase Ford as well as they head into clearways. We've got 10 laps to go, and Goff is back up into 2nd place. Jack Goff is up ahead of Andrew Jordan once more, and there he could yet win this, because look, he's hunting down Tom Ingram. The gap is half a second between them, and last time around, Goff lapped half a second quicker than Ingram in the lead. lead.
He has obviously looked after his tyres better, and Eurotech have obviously got a good setup on that car to look after the tyres. But look, here come the slick shot cars. Look at Moffat. He's making massive headway. There's plenty of time for Moffat to catch the leaders.
And Colin Turkington has done the fastest lap of the race on a 50.481. There is Moffat then, hunting more places. The leaders are all concertinaing up because look, Ash Sutton's up to third. Jordan's tyres are going off. He's fourth. Tordoff's off the road in the background.
Moffat's going to win this race. I'll tell you now, Moffat is going to win this race. If he keeps his head, he's got plenty of laps.
Okay, so at the moment he is 7 seconds behind the leaders, but he's lost places. He's gone wide and Jake Hill's got ahead of him. He's on slicks, so Moffat loses places coming out of clearways. There are the race leaders. Let's worry about this for a moment because Ingram is only Nat semi-crotchet ahead of Goff now, 0.2 of a second. Jake Hill is the best of those on slicks, and Jake Hill is in 7th place. What a story this would be if the local driver was to score a podium or even a win, and it's a mistake from Moffat coming into clearways.
I think my last line was if he doesn't make a mistake.
I do remember you saying that.
And now I'm going to say Jake Hill's going to win this race.
Unless he makes a mistake. Here's for the race lead, 3 of them together. Ingram, Goff and Sutton. Jordan 4th, trying to get to the end and think about points. In fairness, I think Moffat has regrouped pretty well, so he's going after Jake Hill. The leaders are up at clearways. And Ingram desperately wants Sutton to come up and have a go at Jack Goff again because that might take some of the pressure off. Ingram defends the inside line. The laps are ticking down. And, of course, those that started on slicks largely from the back of the grid with less to lose. Ingram it is up front for the moment, but it's down to a 1/10 of a second between them. We're on to lap 21 as they round paddock. Absolutely nose to tail. And yes, we've got those on slicks catching up, but we need to focus on this.
Yeah, they've got no idea. They are racing their hearts out, these guys. They've got no idea they're being caught by the guys on slicks. Now, Sutton ran wide. Matt lost a lot of time. Look.
And look at Senna Proctor in the background because he has gone round the outside. He's on the curb, but he has just taken 3rd place. Senna Proctor, out of nowhere in the Vauxhall Astra, is carving his way through the field. 4th is Hill, 5th is Moffat. Down to 6th then will go Sutton. So, Senna Proctor could win this race because look, as Goff goes for the race lead, Proctor is hoping to follow him through. Moffat gets back ahead of Jake Hill, so Goff leads. Up to 2nd is Proctor. Down to 3rd is Ingram. Here comes Moffat in the Mercedes, round the outside line. And Jack Goff is still doing a great job of being able to hang on up there, but Ingram has dropped back into the pack for the moment. He's got Jake Hill behind him. Here comes Proctor for the race lead on lap 22 of 27. He takes Moffat with him. There's a gap on the inside. They go 3 wide into Druids. Is this going to work? Amazing. Goff goes wide. Moffat gets the race lead. Fantastic stuff.
Well, Moffat was just on a mission there. I mean, they didn't think there'd be any way to be able to outbrake Proctor into Druids, but he was just on a mission and he stopped the car. That Mercedes has got plenty of heat in the slicks. Now, don't turn in too late. He's learned from his mistake into clearways, and he's left a little bit of a gap, but Proctor's not got up the inside. Wow, and Jake Hill's right there as well.
Moffat started 14th, Proctor started 27th, Hill started 25th, and Ollie Jackson on slicks is also joining the mix. He was a little bit better up the grid. So those 4 all on slicks. What a podium this is going to be.
Boardman is right behind. Boardman is there as well.
2.5 seconds away from Moffat. Here they come up the hill. We're on lap 23 of 27. Rob Austin in the Alfa Romeo. Now he's up into 9th place. Senna Proctor, he was in the tyre barrier in race 1, remember? He's crawling all over the back of Aidan Moffat now. These 4 squabbling for the lead. Ollie Jackson's never had a podium. Jake Hill's not had a podium. You've got last year's Jack Sears Trophy winner Senna Proctor there. Aidan Moffat, 2-time race winner, heading the pack. But they're being caught by Tom Boardman behind. Is Proctor going to make a move for the race lead? He's right on the tail of Moffat. They all concertina up towards clearways. This is fabulous stuff.
Well, this is one of those races where everybody senses an opportunity. All these guys know this is one of those opportunities that doesn't come around all the time. They know that one of them is going to be able to take this win, or certainly a podium, and all of them want it badly because you don't get opportunities very often.
So the leading quartet up towards Druids. Wait and see if there's a move up the inside. Not there. So let me quickly mention that behind them, Boardman is 5th. Senna Proctor in the Forever Forward Award has gained 25 places. Jake Hill 22 and Rob Austin 20 places gained from their grid positions. We've got yellow flags at clearways where the leaders approach. Now, behind them, Jack Goff is 6th, Ingram is 7th, Austin is up to 8th, Sutton's down to 9th, and Mike Bushell from the pit lane is 10th. Another amazing drive. There are the yellows, so no overtaking into clearways, but Jake Hill being spurred along by Ollie Jackson, breathing down his neck. He's looking for a way past Senna Proctor, who wants a race win. Of course, he had so many class wins last year, and he proved to be a real star of the BTCC. And again, you've got these young stars now, the next generation of the championship, showing the way round on the slick tyres, and we are on lap number 25 of 27.
And they're catching Matt Neal, who also started on 6 and from the pit lane, but had no pace all the way through for whatever reason. Whether that was a carryover from the damage of race 1, we just don't know, but certainly didn't work. But wow, and Boardman is catching them as well. In fact, Boardman set the fastest lap of the race on the very last lap, so he's making a massive charge in the last 2 laps.
Aidan Moffat defends well up towards clearways. Door prized open a little bit by Senna Proctor, who could be another hero in this. If you can come from 27th to a win, that would be some story. So over the timing line they come. 25 laps are put in the book, 2 to run. Hill attacks Proctor, but Moffat manages to make that Mercedes very wide, impressively wide, going through paddock. Remember, he was a race winner here last year. He was leading the second race until there was that bit of contact with Colin Turkington. And now Proctor makes contact with him and tries to force open the door. And Moffat goes wide, and there's more contact, and that's bad news for Moffat, because he's in the tyres, he's got damage, and one little touch has serious consequences. And Neil slow at Graham Hill bend. Proctor leads the way, but there might be a discussion about that.
There will be discussion, but through all of that, Moffat's continued, so there won't be a yellow flag or anything. In fact, he's still racing.
Yeah,
he's still going for a result.
Because he's a long way clear of those on the wet tyres.
Yeah.
So keep going, Aidan. There's only a lap to go. Bits are falling off. The car's all disfigured. So Senna Proctor will come across the line in the lead. Jake Hill is second, and the gap is half a second between them.
Oh, well, difficult to say, isn't it? I mean, obviously Moffat had to come try and get back on the track, but was it his fault he was off or not? Who knows?
Yeah, there'd already been that nudge going through Druids, hadn't there? But it shows how strong that car is, because it's still going despite falling apart. So the gaps, amazingly, on this last lap between that leading gaggle have just opened up a little bit, and it's Senna Proctor leading the way, Jake Hill second, Ollie Jackson third. And a very, very random podium compared to what you might have expected.
Well, Senna Proctor said he was going for outright podiums this year. I don't think he's thought he'd be in a position to win, but he's done it, and it's a fantastic result for him, the Power Max team.
What a drive. 27th to a win. Senna Proctor takes his first ever outright British Touring Car Championship win. It's also the first win for the Power Max Racing squad with the Vauxhall Astra, so there's a lot to cheer for. Jake Hill second, great result. Ollie Jackson's best ever third. Tom Boardman, welcome back fourth. Aidan Moffat fifth, a race of what might have been. Rob Austin sixth. Matt Simpson seventh from the back of the grid. From the back of the grid, amazing. Eighth, Mike Bushell from the pit lane. Ninth, Rory Butcher, and Jack Goff 10th. The final race of the day, round 3 of the championship for 2018, about to get underway. Everybody in place, light to go red. Who is going to make the best start? Rob Austin gets away nicely. Good start by Ollie Jackson. He tries to go to the outside of Aidan Moffat, levels with him and gets past as well. Good start by Matt Simpson as well on the run up towards paddock. Rob Austin leads the way. Ollie Jackson second. Third is Moffat. Fourth is Boardman. Simpson is fifth. Up towards Druids. Rob Austin has already managed to gap the rest of them.
Yeah, great start by Rob Austin and Ollie Jackson, and Matt Simpson, who gets nerfed sideways but holds it. They bunch up behind him, any further contact, hopefully not, as they come down the hill towards Graham Hill.
Tom Ingram round the outside of Simpson, forced up the curb, but he gains the place. But Rob Austin and Ollie Jackson getting away from the rest. And there, look, Aidan Moffat at the moment being the cork in the bottle. He's got this long line behind him. Ingram's looking for a way past Matt Simpson again. Look as they come up now towards clearways for the first time. This is Ingram's view.
On board with Ingram. He always seems to take that tighter line coming out of clearways. It's a much shorter line, and it keeps the steering lock on, but it works for him. It's a bit reminiscent of Matt Neal taking some of those short lines, isn't it? He dives up the inside. Oh,
that is a very crossed up MG. That was Boardman being given a tap by Bushell. That was coming through paddock. We saw Ingram dive up the inside of Simpson. That worked for him, but Mike Bushell versus Tom Boardman, and the Volkswagen survives. The double Clio Cup champion back into the series this year, running now fourth. Boardman the one that has dropped down the order, but Austin leads the way. Ollie Jackson is second. So the Alfa Romeo brand back in the BTCC and up front, and James Cole is facing the wrong way up at Druids. And is he on his own? No, he's not, because that's Rob Collard who is in the gravel.
Oh, that could well be a safety car again. Not going to be easy, actually, for Cole to turn the car around there, because it's very difficult to turn the car around as coming up towards the start-finish line. Goff just passing Senna Proctor before they got to the safety car board. But yes, the safety car's off. They're slowed down, fortunately. Cole has got the car going, but he's got damage to the right front, and obviously Collard is buried in the gravel.
And there, James Cole with damage. So he will head to the pit lane. You have to go back a long, long way for an outright Alfa Romeo win. 1994 was when Gianpiero Simoni won at Donington Park. We had a class win at Mondello from Chris Ryan in the production class back in 2013. But can Rob Austin take Alfa to an outright win? There's a long way to go yet, but he leads the way. So Rob Collard's car out of harm's way at Druids, and we should be able to go racing this time. The lights are out, so we'll have laps added on, of course, with this safety car period, and Rob Austin leads the pack. It's Jackson second, Moffat third, Ingram fourth, looking menacing now. Let's see what he can do against the Scotsman in the Mercedes as they come up towards the timing line. They're going to be side by side towards paddock. Ingram on the outside, no, not really level, so he slots back in behind. Can Rob Austin get away? Ollie Jackson having his day of days. Here goes Ingram for third, up the inside, coming out of paddock. He's level with the Mercedes. He's ahead of the Mercedes. Tom Ingram then up into third spot.
Going fantastically from 11th, but the Crocodile wasn't formed up behind the safety car when the lights went out. The final cars were still coming round Clearways when the first cars gone round Paddock and up to Druid.
It was a late call, but we are back racing, and it is Rob Austin that leads the pack. Ollie Jackson second, and another bit of contact. Aidan Moffat and Mike Bushell come to blows, and it's Moffat again who comes off worse.
Well, Mike Bushell's brought his aggressive game back into the British Touring Car Championship off the back of winning a couple of Clio Championships, and he's not making any friends. Poor old Aidan Moffat's got it again.
Yeah, Tom Boardman was the first one.
He's got problems. Aidan Moffat's got car problems.
Absolutely. I think the suspension is damaged, isn't it, in that whack? It doesn't look quite straight, and certainly you can see it's going slower. So he peels to one side, and Aidan Moffat looks as though he's going to have to limp to the pit lane.
Well, it looks like Mike Bushell just doesn't get the braking done in time. Moffat wasn't doing anything wrong. Look, Bushell is close up behind. He's hoping to get up the inside, runs the speed up the inside, but there's just no room. Never got alongside at all.
So Mike Bushell may find himself up before the clerk of the course post-race, as now Tom Ingram is up into second place. He's got ahead of Ollie Jackson whilst we were looking at the replays. Mike Bushell is fourth, Pro Tem. Then it's Matt Simpson. Jack Goff going well up to sixth. Seventh was Rory Butcher, but he had Adam Morgan all over him, and Morgan has gone through. Simpson goes wide. Teammate Jack Goff gets up the inside as they head up towards Druids, and Jack Goff now goes fifth. So he is making progress, and a big lose there. That is James Nash, who is at the bottom of Paddock Hill, finds a gear and accelerates out of harm's way.
Yeah, well, the two guys I said to watch out for, which was Ingram and Goff, are marching towards the front with their fairly light cars on soft tyres. And this was the beautiful move. That's the move that Bushell was trying to pull off on Aidan Moffat, but that's how it should be done.
How did James Nash end up facing the wrong way? He got proctored. Contact, and he tried to save it, and it went left, and it went right, and it went around.
Yeah, unfortunately didn't get hit by anybody else, so that was good.
And there he is, I'm afraid to say, parked at the top of the hill coming out of Druids. So Rob Austin is being caught now by Tom Ingram. Adam Morgan's another one charging up the order, look, because he's about to have a go at Matt Simpson for sixth place, and he's taking Rory Butcher with him. And in the background, Tom Boardman is battling with Ash Sutton. Those two absolutely together. Sutton tries to go around the outside. Reigning champion gets forced out wide. And that's going to give Chris Smiley a chance to challenge on the inside of the Honda, goes past the Subaru.
Well, we know where you're going to end up when you go around the outside. But Graham Hill bend of a touring car driver, even if you're Ash Sutton, you're not going to hold your ground.
So Bushell is third, but look at the way the top two have managed to get away from anybody else.
Yeah, there's been some squabbling behind, hasn't there? Oh, what a late dive by Ingram. If he pulls that off on the damp part of the track, he'll be a superstar. But great driving by Austin. He saw him coming, gave him that half car of gap on the inside to complete his braking without hitting him, and kept the position. That's exactly how I say experienced touring car drivers race.
So Ingram had a go, backs out of it, wasn't able to do it. He's planning where he can make the move second time around. Austin still leads. Ingram with that tight line we saw deployed in race one. He's now level with him as they come over the line. Austin tries to move across, but there's a Toyota there, and Ingram it is who leads across the line, but only just. Austin on the outside line tries to stand his ground. Can he cut back to the inside line? He's going to think about it. He's going to try to do it, but Ingram moves across and covers the line. It's the Toyota ahead. Tom Ingram leads this time around. Lap 13 up at Druids.
Well, he's waited, worked it out, knew he was very strong at Clearways. We've seen that from the start of the race, and I feel a little sorry for Rob Austin. He's done a brilliant job so far. We knew he'd fight hard. He'd love to have brought Alpha's first win in this race. Well, it's not over yet. Let's have another look at it. Look how tight Tom is able to turn that car on the brake still. Just the tiniest rub, but not part of the overtake, and he gets up the inside on the way out. Oh, Goff's dropping back.
He is losing places. Has he got a problem? Let's see, because that's Matt Simpson going past him. So Jack Goff was fourth and is now going to be down in ninth, coming over the line.
Ah, what's happened there? Because he was looking strong. He did have Adam Morgan close behind him, didn't he? So whether there was some contact there or not, the car still seems to be running strongly.
Through Druids they turn. And Jack Goff, yeah, he's not dropping away, he's staying with him. Have a look behind. Chris Smiley's got a battle behind him.
Ah.
And this is a contact jelly on Chilton. Stephen Jelly versus Tom Chilton, and it forces the focus wide and loses places. Race leaders, the gap is up to 4 seconds now between Ingram and Austin, but this fight rages on over the line. Josh Cook versus Colin Turkington. It is for 11th and 12th places.
And no doubt Ingram has got this under control. Wow, look how fast the BMW is mid-corner, just mid-corner on the apex there at Paddock. It was really hooked up.
So Turkington trying to salvage points after the dramas of race 2. Matt Simpson looking for a way past Ollie Jackson, and Jack Goff staying with them. So whatever that drama was, he's being able to drive around it. Jackson has to defend in the Audi. Simpson tries to think the outside might be the place to go, but no, slots back in as there's Turkington crawling all over the back of Josh Cook. Up they come now in towards Clearways. Chris Smiley hanging on to another place in the top 10, going very well indeed. Great pace being shown by these cars, new to the Burt Taylor run team this season. Ingram to Austin, 4.5 seconds then. Adam Morgan is up to third at the expense of Mike Bushell.
Yeah, Morgan's been very strong, hasn't he? And the Mercedes have looked good this weekend. Shame for Tom Oliphant, because he was making a strong debut. But Adam Morgan's been strong. Coming down into Max Bushell and Sutton fighting over 4th place. Bushell's getting a taste of his own medicine now. The front split is completely smashed, isn't it? And Sutton's going to deal with him, I'm sure, fairly soon. But yeah, the Mercedes have been very strong. You know, Adam Moffat was looking like he could win race 2. And Adam Morgan going very strongly here. And debutant Tom Oliphant's been strong as well. Look at the rain on the windscreen.
Over the line, Bushell hanging on to that 4th place. Ash Sutton is in 5th, 6th behind them is Rory Butcher's MG. Now the gap 2nd to 3rd is the next one to monitor, because last time around, much quicker than Austin, was Morgan. Don't forget the Alfa Romeo in its first race weekend. The Mercedes is a proven car, and they're together as they come down towards Graham Hill Bend. This is it, 2nd and 3rd. Il Quadrifoglio Rampante. The Alfa Romeo is still hanging on to 2nd place, but behind Adam Morgan is right there. Is he going to be able to get close enough to make a move coming through Clearways into Clark Curve?
It looks like he's too far away. He's certainly using that tight line, the Ingram line, we'll call it, if you like, but couldn't quite get there. Look, you see, Ingram line again on the exit, nice and tight.
So Rob Austin hangs onto the place, laps tick down, Ingram through in the lead, and the gap's 4.4 seconds, but now Rob Austin's got to go defensive again. Adam Morgan, who's turned around his weekend after a bit of a shoulder shrug in qualifying yesterday, is right behind him. He's in 3rd spot. Bushell is still under attack from Sutton. Into Druids they come.
Yeah, and I fancy that, in fairness, exactly the same place that Ingram past Austin is going to be the one, but Rob might just choose to brake a little bit tighter and a little bit earlier to block that off.
But it's been very encouraging all day to see the variety of drivers and cars and teams all capable of running up near the front, as now Sutton gets ahead of Butcher. and Butcher gets past Bushell in turn. So you've now got Sutton running fourth, up to fifth is Butcher, but Bushell fights back and he goes through and he goes wide. He gets the place, elbows out, but he's done it.
Yeah, he did. That was a very brave move. He's ever so late on the brakes, and Mike Bushell is showing he's not going to take any nonsense now.
You've taken the words. I was going to say, he's certainly a different Mike Bushell from that we saw a couple of 3 years back. Another spell in the Clio Cup. He admitted to me yesterday has really sharpened him up, and he feels better equipped for the championship now. But he's a fighter. He's proved that.
I have to give hats off to Ash Sutton as well in fourth place. This is on board. Well, we're just talking about him on board with Sutton. And I think he's going to do it on the way in, down the inside, just gets enough of the car alongside, bit of oversteer on the exit. And but Sutton has driven really well. That car's not been handling well, but in all three races, Sutton has got the very, very best out of it.
All over the grass goes Tordoff, losing places. Canish is one of those that gets past him. Proctor was another, so Sam Tordoff goes running, crossing, but briefly. We've got 2 laps to go. Tom Ingram's lead is coming down. He might be driving within himself. Let's make sure he's not got a problem, because what was 4.4 is now 3.2 seconds.
No, he's just managing it. He's just managing the gap. Tom knows how to win races.
Indeed.
Looking at the car, it's not pushing on. It's holding its line nicely. He's just managing it.
So Rob Austin hangs on to that second spot. Behind in third is Adam Morgan, but now the move starts to build up. A flash of the lights as they come on, I'm quicker, but that matters not, because it's a genuine fight for position, this. Rob Austin perfectly entitled to defend, and defend he will.
Oh, has he done enough, though? He's gone in tight. I think Rob was trying to hold the inside and ran a little bit deep on the brakes, and that's opened the door. It's a drag race down the straight, and Morgan has got enough of the car up the inside to hold it into paddock, I'm sure.
He's ahead, and it's by that same 28 thousandths that we've seen in other dead heats, the Smiley and Camish battle from race 1, for example. So Morgan goes second, but Rob Austin fights back as they make their way up towards Druid, second and third, and Rob Austin is sideways. That's going to spoil the run to challenge for second, but at least he hangs on to third place. Down towards Graham Hill Band they come. What a day of racing it has been, and we're not done yet. But Tom Ingram, another cracking effort up front.
A great effort, a great race, and I'm glad to see Rob Austin is still going to get a podium for Alfa Romeo.
You're not the only one, as they come then up now through Clearways for the last time. But Tom Ingram it is who is going to come through and score victory. He accelerates his way now up towards the timing line. Round 3 of the championship is won by Tom Ingram, who goes through victorious, a 7th career win. Second goes the way of Adam Morgan, and Rob Austin takes the new Alfa Romeo home for third. Fourth should be, it is Ash Sutton. Fifth, Mike Bushell just ahead of Butcher. Simpson 7th, 8th Goff, 9th Turkington from 27th, and 10th goes the way of Josh Cook. And there is delight down at Speedworks. So, Tom Ingram leads the championship, 3 points ahead of Jack Goff. Adam Morgan is third after the first weekend of racing. Rob Austin's 4th ahead of Ash Sutton. 6th is Colin Turkington ahead of Senna Proctor. Ollie Jackson is 8th from Rory Butcher. And Mike Bushell rounds out the top 10.